Welcome to A.U.M. Ask Us Marketing. I'm your host, Kalli Fedusenko. I'm the founder of Savvy Advisor Marketing. We are a digital marketing agency developed to build relationships between financial advisors and their target audience using data to create websites, online content, and ads. But the only thing you really need to remember is that we build relationships first and we grow numbers second. And you can learn more about me by scanning this QR code. There we go. And as always, we're very thankful to say our episode today is brought to you by the Financial Planning Association. And if you're not already watching on one of their channels, then you should scan this QR code and get connected to the FPA. All right, so this episode, AI can help you scale outreach, but only if you know exactly who you're talking to. So, we're talking about what happens when smart AI use meets a clearly defined niche, which I love talking to people when they have a niche. Andie Lafontant, man, I am stumbling over my words today. The managing director of Blue Zone Wealth Advisors shares how focusing almost exclusively on entrepreneurs and business owners transformed her referral pipeline and how she's using tools like Claude to support thoughtful, strategic prospecting. So I'm really excited to dig in with an advisor who's using AI and has a niche. So please welcome with me Andie Lafontant to A.U.M.
Nailed it. It's a very hard name to say. So you crushed it, Kalli. Good job.
Thank you. Mine's hard too. You'd think I'd be able to say someone else's, but
Trust me, my old email was almost 18 letters. So it's tough. It's tough for us.
It is. Especially, I don't know if you've always had the same last name, but mine used to be 5 letters. It was far easier to spell and say.
Yeah, I get it. Mine's always been the same. It'll feel the same. I love it.
Yeah. I kind of miss mine. Okay, but what we're actually here to talk about is talking about niching down and using AI. And as I said earlier, I love talking to an advisor who has a niche because it's kind of rare. Even still, I mean, we talk about it everywhere in conferences. Everyone's always talking about like niche down. But then when I actually have advisors, very few actually are. So I'm really excited to hear about that. And if you could tell me like what made you decide to focus on that and how did that change business for you?
I love talking about this.
Yeah.
And the reason is the moment I stopped trying to serve everyone, my referral pipeline, the types of clients I worked with, and the other advisors that they work with became much stronger, much closer, and much deeper. Early on in my career, I worked with all different types of clients, but I very quickly realized my passion was working with entrepreneurs or business owners. They're all very different, all different industries, different sizes, maybe different geographies, but they tend to share a few key characteristics. They're all very, very busy, either building their company, transitioning their company, or building or starting something new. They all, for most of them, there's always the repeat entrepreneur. Most of them, they're trading a very significant and concentrated asset on their balance sheet for a large sum of liquid assets that they've never really had before. And the third similarity is that for many of them, they know that this transaction comes with a lot of liabilities, income tax liabilities, estate tax liabilities, creditors, the need to teach their children about money, generating, replacing their paycheck, generating enough cash flow. And that's all of these things that I absolutely love to do. One of my clients referred to me as a Sherpa for entrepreneurs, which I thought was a great term, just helping guide transition. And once I realized that was my passion in working with these people, loving their energy, their positivity, and helping Sherpa them or guide them through this transition, the rest just fell into place. What happens when I started working with these entrepreneurs is I start meeting the other advisors that are in their life.
Right.
An attorney, it's going to be a very specific business focused CPA. At some point, it's going to be an investment banker. There's the auxiliary people like trust and estate attorneys and insurance brokers, et cetera. But once I started working with this group of people, I found myself repeatedly working with the same M&A attorneys or the same if I'm working on a healthcare client, I know who I'm going to be introducing this client to when it's time to really upgrade their team. And so what happened naturally was I became a go-to for those advisors. And so now when a client is selling their business and we know that it's a C corporation and it's qualified small business stock, that corporate attorney knows who to call. Call Andie. She's been doing QSBS stacking for 5 years. I've seen her work with some of my other clients.
Right.
And so that network became tighter. I knew who to refer my clients to, and then I could also refer these people to each other. So it turned into just an amazing ecosystem that I love.
Yeah. You kind of become a specialist rather than a generalist.
Yeah.
Was there any fear when you made this decision? Because that's what I find when I'm talking to advisors. You know, they're so scared of losing the ones that don't fit.
I don't have any fear because I just am so excited about working with these types of clients. A lot of the skills that I have around the planning, the income taxes, asset protection, estate taxes, they are usable with other types of clients. So my largest types of clients are entrepreneurs. The second largest group that I work with are divorcees. Similar transition. They're going from being part of a household that maybe they ran, maybe they were, provided a lot of the assets and income to, but something that they really understood, to then transitioning where now they have an amount of money that they have to manage by themselves that also has all of these characteristics. So I found, those skills will apply to other types of clients, but, if someone's a special type of doctor with a highly regulated business, I might say, I'm not the right person for you because I have this special skill set that's probably not going to be perfectly attributable to you. So long answer long, or whatever.
Yeah.
I was not scared. I just felt just so excited to work with these clients, and they have large networks and they refer me their friends, and it's just worked out really well.
That's awesome. And I love hearing stories like that. Let's talk about, how are you using AI in the prospecting? Particularly, it can be really difficult to use AI and still come across as personal. So I'd love to hear your secrets and how that's helping you with prospecting in your niche.
Yes. So I have the AI ick. As when I see I think we're becoming better and better. You can tell what's AI. Our LinkedIn feeds are clogged with people who post some long post every single day with the double, the long headline, the emphatic language that just so clearly ChatGPT. AI helps me show up so much more. I use it for preparation, and it helps me show up so much more prepared. That makes the interactions more personal. I use a few different tools. So I use Claude as my big picture strategic thought partner. And then for smaller items, more administrative items, I use a tool called Virgil, a tool called Vanilla, and a tool called Quinn. And I'll talk about what each of those do for me. And so let's talk about Quinn, for example. Quinn is my personal assistant. I tried a few different tools and really loved the Quinn specifically because it was built for financial advisors. So 1 year ago, you go to a client meeting, you're taking down all your notes. It's hard to listen because you can't miss taking very specific notes, especially when we're going through numbers and details. Then after the meeting, you have to upload those to your CRM. You have to make sure that it's tagged in all the right places, make those changes to the client's financial plan, follow up with the client on what the next tasks and to-dos are, follow up with your operations team on what needs to happen operationally, follow up with your trading team. It's just a whole, it piles up. Quinn does all of that for me. So Quinn is meetings, take notes, summarizes with a follow-up, drafts emails. Quinn also helps me a lot with my referral network because Quinn stays on top of who I'm talking to and reminds me of who I need to follow up with if I left something and
Right.
a thread open. So Quinn, hands down, the best personal assistant. Virgil is this incredible tool for understanding clients' portfolios. So a year ago, maybe not a year, maybe 2 years ago, clients come to us we work with a lot of business owners that are preparing to sell their business. Usually they're just starting with cash. We also run into clients where they've been working with, maybe a bulge bracket firm and they need to get a little more specialized and sophisticated. So they have some investment accounts. And it's not rare to see someone come with 10 different brokerage accounts and a 120-page statement. That used to take an analyst, it could take 2 days to create an Excel file of all of those positions, look at all of the asset allocation and fees, and then you have to figure out the portfolio attribution. Virgil does that with a scan of a statement. Big statements, maybe it could take Virgil one overnight batch to get you the answers, but usually I can get, with one statement, within 15 minutes, a complete overview of the client's portfolio, upside, downside scenarios, how it would have reacted in all of these various historical time periods. Fantastic. Yeah. Vanilla is my last favorite tool. It's an estate planning focused tool. Once again, clients come with estate plans. Sometimes we also have to do a lot of referrals out for trust and estate work. But those estate plans could be 10 to 30 PDFs, depending on what sort of planning they've done. That also used to take an analyst 2 to 3 days to read through everything, diagram it all out. Vanilla now does that for you. I mean, I want to say instantaneous, but pretty instantaneous.
How much review do you have to do of what it's producing?
With all of these tools, you have to review.
Right.
You have to double check everything, but it's helpful just to get that quick look. And it just allows us to be much more proactive with the client. One of my clients' dads was in the hospital and things aren't looking so good for him. He was first in line as their successor trustee. So it just allows you to be so much more proactive instead of reactive. And then Claude is just like the overarching big picture strategy partner. So, AI can make you a robot, or you can use it for preparation and become a lot more strategic and proactive with your clients. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And you're already that specialist. So now you're just adding those tools. I think that's like really smart.
Thank you.
How did you pick those? Because there's so many AIs out there. Like, how did you pick those specific ones?
So, I can't take all the credit. My partner, Josh, has been really doing a ton of research. He's coding Claude, doing the coding. I used the wrong terminology, so I apologize, but he's doing some of the coding himself, building out an incredible engine to help our back office. So with his help, I found pretty much all of these tools. Vanilla is known to be the best for the ultra high net worth clients. So clients where they have a taxable estate, so over $15 million a person in 2026. Vanilla is just the ultimate tool. Virgil, we've been using it for, I think, 2 years now, and it's just gotten better and better with time. It's just that instantaneous look at everything, and it can plug into other systems as well. And then Quinn, I've tried other, there's Otter, there's Read AI, so many different notes, but Quinn was, because it's built for financial advisors, it just provided a much more advisory focused lens and knows who's on the operations team. It knows who's on the investments team. It knows that we're not sending in trading instructions until we have our kickoff call next Thursday. It can tell what's going on to such a high degree of accuracy. It is really like I have a personal assistant sitting on my left-hand side at all times.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm looking at switching right now from ChatGPT. Not sure what I'm going to switch to.
ChatGPT is, I ask chat questions all day.
Yeah.
Cooking, home design, I do tread lightly sometimes with legal questions because I've seen it hallucinate. I've seen it make
Yeah.
mistakes. But
Yes.
recently I have many sisters, and my youngest sister is 27, and I asked ChatGPT what date was I the same age that she was today. Like, funny
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
that I can just try and, that I'm not going to figure out myself. But I think getting more of these more specialized tools is
Mhm.
imperative, especially if you're going to be using them as part of your business.
Absolutely. Um, okay, so you've walked us through how you're using each of them and how it prepares you for walking into those conversations. Um, let's talk specifically about your COIs. How that helped build your referral ecosystem through your COIs, and does AI come into play with that at all?
Yeah. So niching down really turned networking more into a partnership, I would say. So
Mm,
you what what used to happen was you would wine and dine, the traditional financial
mhm,
advisor model where you're wining and dining, maybe trusted estate attorneys and CPAs. But now, because I have such a focused target for clients, I find myself going back to the same centers of influence all of
yeah,
the time. It's going to be M&A attorneys, it's going to be investment bankers, and it's going to be very business focused tax, like CPAs that are either advisory, transaction advisory. They do a lot of income tax mitigation. We do a lot of that when the clients sell businesses. And instead of just general networking, we're
mhm,
really problem solving together because most of the time we're working with on a specific client. So
right,
I'm not just calling up Bob to tell him this new strategy that we're talking to clients about, but we're really talking about a very specific client need. I also use my referral network as, you know, as specialists for me. So if I run into a specific situation, even if the client isn't looking for, you know, the tax attorney who does a lot of qualified small business stock,
mhm,
I still call them just to get their opinion. And in turn, we're all just bouncing ideas off of each other, and it's creating
right,
a reminder of what everyone does and what they specialize in. AI, the AI tool I use for my referral network is Quinn, because
mhm,
Quinn knows, it's plugged into our CRM, so it knows who's a client, who's a previous
mm,
client, and who's a center of influence. And Quinn helps remind me, what I'm last talking to this client about, this advisor about. Maybe we talked about a potential opportunity. Sometimes,
mhm,
you know, especially in the early stage entrepreneurs, they want to talk to someone, it's too busy, that we need to wait a few months. Quinn helps remind me, hey, you actually talked to Bob about Jim last
yeah,
on this date. We need to follow up with you.
mm,
And it also helps me stay top of mind with my referral network. If there's been someone that I haven't talked to in 6 months or a year, just reminding me to get back in front of them and see what they're working on, see if there's any specific strategies they've been using recently that are interesting. So it just it switches. Instead of just the networking, it's collaborative, we're problem solving, and we're really leaning on each other for help.
yeah. Do you use any, I guess, do you use Quinn or Claude for helping you with your communications with your prospects?
Um, like I said, I have the ick, the AI
Yeah,
ick. I
yeah,
really Sometimes I do. If I'm writing a unique email with a sensitive situation, um, sometimes I'll ask for help, just a review of the
mhm,
email, or if I need to consolidate something to make it more clear, or if I need to make sure a very specific point is coming across, I will use AI. I think in today's AI world,
mhm,
there's a lot less. I mean, I'm a stickler for grammar and punctuation. I hate
yeah,
see mistakes. I think now you cannot make mistakes.
right,
You need to be using tools, no spelling mistakes, no grammar mistakes, no
right,
punctuation mistakes. That said, I like emails to sound like me, so people don't get the ick. And I don't want anyone to feel like I'm just those people on LinkedIn flooding everyone's feeds
yes,
nonstop daily posts.
yeah,
So I write emails. I want them to sound like me, but if it's sensitive, I will, get a second set of eyes.
mhm, mhm, um, yeah, I like that. I do a lot of the Same. I'll write something, then I'll just be like, hey, proof this for me.
Yes. Yeah. Like I'll say sometimes only change what's incorrect, what's inaccurate or incorrect.
Right. Yes. Okay, if there's an advisor out there who's considering niching down and also experimenting with AI prospecting, what would you recommend for them to start with?
Figure out who they love to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I am so passionate about working with entrepreneurs. I absolutely love working with them. So for me, every single day is a really fun and exciting day when I'm working with the clients that I'm working with.
Yeah.
There's
What is it about them that you
um, depending on the industry,
Mhm.
I think just the attitude, the
Mm,
risk-taking mentality, the mindset, the
mm,
positivity. I think there's a certain energy that comes with being an entrepreneur that made it happen.
yeah.
In the early stages, entrepreneurs don't need to really talk to someone like me.
Right.
I give a lot of free advice. I'm very honest that you don't need to work with someone like me. They're really heads down, focused on their business, building.
Mhm.
But once they get to a place where, okay, maybe we should start looking at this. This looks like it could be something.
Right.
Like maybe we want to do some tax planning. They want to start to understand all of the ramifications of all of their actions. It's just fun to be their partner going through
Mm,
transition. Similar with the divorcees.
mhm.
You're stepping into an entire new life for yourself, one that you can have a lot of fear, or we can flip the script and approach it in a different way. And so I feel like once you find out who you love working with, who you're passionate about working with,
Mhm.
start there. Think
Mm,
about the types of people these people are. What characters, I told you the characteristics that my
yeah.
clients share.
Right.
Figure out what problems they consistently face. Are you actually equipped to handle those problems? Do you need to go learn something else? Or you need to go get your CFP or another type of exam? Then take it to Chat or Claude, or even do this brainstorming
Mhm.
exercise in Chat or Claude and start talking about that you're trying to figure out your niche, develop the framework and the strategy. And
Mhm.
then from there, when you're starting to talk to your referral sources, talk about these types of people's, provide case studies. Don't just tell them all the things that you do. Tell them about an actual client that you did these things for and how it
Yeah.
affected their lives. And you just start moving down that path. And, Chat, GPT, or Claude can be your strategy partner trying to figure out what it's going to look like. And they
Yeah.
can develop for you a 30-day plan, a 60-day plan, a 90-day plan to start rolling this out.
Mhm. And they just have access so much faster to resources that it would take us so much longer to.
Of course. And I think that you can't you want to stay sharp. You want to not just, delegate all of your deep thinking to the systems, but
Right.
use them as the tools. I think that, you know, technology is it's so powerful, and AI is
Mhm.
just incredible. But the real advantage, I think, is combining that tech
Mhm.
with a niche that you're passionate about, that's clear to you, and then also building that referral sources, because the AI is one prong of
Right.
that trio, and the other two are human. And so you've got to stay human and
Right.
someone that people actually trust.
Yeah. Um, Also, your three prong, I like that. I would say it should be four.
What's the fourth?
Fourth would be a lot of like outbounds, having a marketing system. So
Yeah.
how we've been talking about how you are a specialist. Curious, what kind of content do you have? Any content that you're releasing that is specific for um, business entrepreneurs or the advisors that they work with?
Yeah. So I've been releasing on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
trying not to use Chat and Claude. So it takes me longer than they might. I use those
Mhm.
for our framework. Last year I did focused on estate tax planning. We were or maybe that was 2024, when the Tax Cuts and Job Acts were going to expire. We did a lot of use it or lose it tax planning. This year, with the change to the QSBS, we're going to be rolling out a series on qualified small business stock and how business owners can take advantage of this. I wanted to be easy, easy to understand, bite-sized pieces, so busy clients can refer to it, and then also, of course, the referral partners as well.
Yeah. I love that. That is a great idea. Are you going to be doing videos or just text, or do you know yet?
I don't know yet. Probably right now the plan was text, but I also know that when you add the video component, it makes it a whole lot punchier.
Yes, so much punchier. Speaking of that, for our audience, next week I don't have a guest, but I think I'm going to go over how to use Hey Jen, which is a video generation. So Andie would be like, you upload a video of you talking, and then Hey Jen is this AI that you can type in what you want to say, and it will make an avatar of you that says it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you can catch a few things where you're like, okay, that seems like that might be AI, but it's really good.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking at that next week and how to generate a video and all that.
Amazing.
Is there anything else that you would tell an advisor, or anything that you want to leave our audience with on niching down or on AI?
I think, you've got to start trying stuff. I think that you've got to start trying the AI tools. Chat is a great start, but I think expanding, and whether you jump into Claude and start doing some coding yourself, or using one of these other tools, Quinn, Vanilla, Virgil, don't just stay behind because you're trying not to catch up, because advisors are going to become more and more efficient. And that means that I, as an advisor, can become more and more strategic and proactive with clients. And that's exactly what they're paying you for.
Yeah.
So my recommendation is just start try and fail, do a lot of R&D, figure out what works for you, make sure that the tool is continuing to improve. I get emails, I don't even know how frequently, maybe it's weekly, from Quinn with things that they're rolling out. Make sure that it's continuing to change with you. And make sure that the rest of your team is using it as well. Here at Blue Zone, whether it's our our trading team, our operations team, whether it's on an admin role for the firm as a whole, everyone is everyone's encouraged to start to use AI to figure out how to make their job even more efficient. And I think that this is the way that we're going to just continue to go. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the world of work looks like in summer 2026, let alone 2027.
Right? It's crazy. Love it. Love everything you said. Thank you so much for joining us and, sharing your process, sharing how you made these decisions. I think it's really helpful for other advisors who are considering these things.
Thank you. I had a great time, Kalli, and I'm happy to come back anytime.
Awesome. Well, I might take you up on that.
Perfect.
And thank you to our audience for joining us. If there's a question that you have that you don't want to ask in the chat, you can always scan this QR code and schedule a call with me one-on-one. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about marketing, well, particularly marketing. I can try to answer other questions, but you might be disappointed in my answers. And of course, join us next week. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to go through how to use Hey Jen and creating an avatar video, just so you can see the process and if that's something that you want to invest in. So make sure to join us next Monday at noon Central.